Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Well, the LSU Tigers, of course, are ranked 5th in the nation. They've got Western Kentucky coming in on Saturday night, and it's a trap game of sorts. Western Kentucky is a good football team. Very good offensively. They can throw the ball. LSU's had some breakdowns in their pass coverage to this particular point in time, so they can't tread on this team lightly. They have to be ready to play.
I think so, and obviously I think they have to be able to play to their strengths, and that's simply possess the football and run it. Of course, you never know when number 7 may just go 80 yards in one play, and that kind of knocks down the time of possession, but really the best thing that they can do offensively is try to, wear down a Western Kentucky team that isn't going to have the numbers, isn't going to have the defensive strength that some of these other teams that LSU has played most recently is going to have. So, I think at the end of the day, LSU wins. I think LSU wins handily. If you're expecting a 40-point blowout of some kind, I don't think that's going to be the case because, as you said, this is a very good, especially in the offensive side, Western Kentucky team.
A lot better than the other non-conference team they played a couple of weeks ago.
No doubt. No doubt. And even then, look, I mean, you talk about Syracuse and Eastern Michigan. They got their points, okay? They scored. This is an LSU defense, and we mentioned this time and time again, that has not allowed less than 19 points yet this year. So the opponents are going to get a little bit of theirs. You just got to make sure you get enough on the other side of the ball to make it a comfortable cushion.
Yeah, Western Kentucky definitely better than Eastern Michigan. Tulane plays an earlier game at Indianapolis against the Naval Academy. A one-loss team lost to Notre Dame in competitive fashion. Tanner Lee is likely to return for the Green Wave. But they got to find offense somewhere. Against good teams, they simply have had no offense whatsoever.
You're right, and they've got to get something going. And, again, you can't put it all on your defense and your special teams. The defense continues to make plays. Even in some of these blowout losses, they've continued to win the turnover battle. So they're continuing to make plays, and, up around now, I think it's 100 turnovers in the Curtis Johnson era. So that has clearly been the strength of this team. But you've got to get some things going on the offensive side. You've got to at least get a push in the special teams game. You can't lose the game there. And just give yourself a chance as you get to the fourth quarter because, again, with a defense that's opportunistic, you never know when somebody's going to step up, make a play, and perhaps win the game for you.
And, of course, the New Orleans Saints Sunday at Indianapolis to take on the Colts, looking for a 2-game win streak for the first time since last October. Colts coming off of a very difficult Sunday night loss and a play that no one's forgotten. Saints had a lot more time to prepare, so advantage Saints in that regard, but the Saints are still banged up.
They are, and the good news is, as we mentioned on Monday, we expected to see Thomas Morstead back, and indeed that's the case. He'll be back in punting, and kicking off, which is very important as well. Sean Payton made the point on his conference call earlier this week that Indy doesn't lose 2 games in a row very often, and so there's that aspect of something they've got to overcome. But of course, they're coming off, a game against the Patriots, a game that, they lost in very frustrating fashion, especially with that crazy fake punt that shouldn't have ever happened. But all that said, the Saints can win this game. Okay, remember this: while you look at a record and you see 2-4. There are only 5 teams in the NFC, and for that matter, 5 teams in the AFC with records over 500. You are just barely on the outside looking in when you're talking about a playoff situation. Can you catch Carolina and Atlanta? That's crazy talk, at least at this point. But the second wild card spot is certainly not out of the question, as crazy as that seems, because right now it's 3-3 and you're 2-4. And you win this game. Look at what's coming up the first 3 weeks of November. You got a chance to really put a streak together heading into the bye.
No question. High school football and the first NBC Prep Showcase continues with a really good game in the River Parishes between 2 outstanding programs that really have a chance to go deep into the playoffs.
They really do. Riverside St. Charles Catholic back in the same league for the first time in a long time, and this is going to be fun. It's really a neighborhood rivalry there. The school's only a couple of miles down the road from each other, and not to mention the fact that they're both really good football teams. And it's not out of the question. This might be the first of 2 meetings this year between these teams, and the second one might even be in the Superdome. Who knows? Although you've got some awfully good teams in Division III. There's a lot of opportunities there for these teams to both make runs into the playoffs. And depending on how the bracket sets up in 3 weeks, maybe it is in the finals.
Friday night 7 in Laplace. Watch it live at SportsNOLA.com and tape delayed at noon on Saturday on WHNO TV 20. Plus a couple of simulcasts this week as well. Thursday night, De La Salle St. James, 7 p.m. in a big District 9-3 matchup at Tag Gormley Stadium. That will be on WGSO 990 AM, and watch it live at SportsNOLA.com. And then on Saturday evening, it's Rummel and Brother Martin, 7 p.m., live on WGSO 990 AM and live at SportsNOLA.com as well. And a radio game at 2 o'clock Saturday, Jesuit and Shaw at Haas Memphis on WGSO. It's a busy weekend. The original Friday night scoreboard at WGSO and, of course, through SportsNOLA.com, the best in the state. So I'm out of breath.
You're out of breath. I think we may have the 3 best games on the card locally, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here at SportsNOLA.com. Not biased, just stating facts. I think they might be the 3 best games on the card.
All good. Looking forward to it. Lenny, have a great weekend.
All right, we'll see you Monday.
That's our first NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. He's Lenny. I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.